I loved it, and it
Wow.
it was.
Hello. Welcome to this episode. I think it's 71.
71, yeah.
Yeah, of What the Flicks podcast. My name is Susan Ayers.
Patty Smith.
Lon Shima.
Jorge Sanchez.
Bob Nick Shields.
We're going to continue on with episode 71, and now we're going to Jorge.
Thank you, aunties and uncles.
Did you do Baby Driver?
No.
No, that's why
That's why you erased it to put
See?
Gatta Kusthi.
Baby
Put it
Driver.
you put it in the wrong spot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, but we know it.
See, look at the arrow.
There's no arrow.
Nobody said
No,
we were
right
perfect.
Mine.
So
He told me to do this thing on the computer to erase it from somewhere and put it somewhere else. Well, I did it, but
Cut and
put it
paste?
somewhere else.
Command X, Command X, and Command D.
You do Command X.
yeah.
Command X, yes.
Cut
Yeah.
and
If you
paste.
Cut
Command
and paste.
X, it
When you do a
erases.
Command C, it cuts it, and
Yeah.
then
It
it pastes
copies it.
But it
Yeah.
copies it. But when you do Command X, it takes it off. too.
Right. It
And
cuts
it,
Really
it.
say it
and
cuts
it
off.
puts it.
It cuts it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, however, you can still, even if you've done a Command X, you can still go to Command V.
I see.
And
It'll face it somewhere else,
it'll-
yeah.
No, it'll come back. It'll come back exactly where you
And the one
put
I
it.
use a lot when I'm working is Command Z. Undo.
Right.
Is it Z?
So
No,
George's
is it Z
movie.
I
or
remember
V?
Control Z is
Gatta
undo.
Kusthi.
Yeah.
Where
Okay.
you want it to go.
People.
And I learned the hard way about Command.
Yes, we are
I
people.
learned Command S. I
Okay.
learned the hard way.
You're
Gatta
on.
Kusthi.
You're on.
My movie. Gatta Kusthi. This is I actually seen this movie 3 times. No. It's so funny. This movie, it's an Indian movie. Is it Tamil? I think it might be
Tamil,
Tamil.
Yeah.
So the movie is basically incidentally, Gatta Kusthi means so it's a form of submission wrestling.
Yeah.
That's what the term is.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys knew that? Okay.
I didn't know
I
that.
I
read.
didn't know that.
So in the beginning of the film, so it's I guess I would say it's like a romantic comedy, maybe falls under that category. When the beginning of the film, we see this female wrestling, kicking everybody's ass, and then when she's done, her uncle, who takes her back home in a moped, and when she shows up in the house, her name is Keerthi, by the way. Keerthi, played by Aishwarya Lakshmi, another Aishwarya. And of course, as soon as they walk in the house, there's her families that are waiting for her, and there's another family, and there's a guy, a potential suitor. What this is, they're trying to find somebody to marry her off to. So I guess it's the cultural thing with them. So, and then of course she's like, oh, and she just came from the wrestling, and the guy's mother sees her in her wrestling, goes, I thought you quit wrestling, and she's still doing it. So she's like, nope, that's not gonna work for us. So they leave. Now that upsets the parents. I mean, the father and the sister, because the sister cannot get married until she gets married first. I think. That's what,
Yes.
So, and the father is so upset about it that he gets a heart attack, ends up in the hospital, and then we see the family at the hospital, and the uncle, her uncle, who takes her to and picks her up to through and from wrestling, walks away, and then he tells us the story. He kind of introduces us to the what we're gonna be watching. That he's the one that he used to took up wrestling to lose weight, and he was really bad at it. But she used to come along with him. Basically, she grew up with him, and there was like, and then they would hang out and play and everything, and then she would tag along when he went and did his wrestling. And it's funny because the coach is telling him, "You're really bad." He's really bad. He's got a huge gut, but coach. And then and he would lose the wrestling event, and he's walking with her and on his shoulders, and she's a little girl, and she's giving him advice. Uncle, you should have used a lock, whatever. And he's like, well, and of course, then she gets into wrestling to the point that she's really good and ends up going to college, getting a degree, getting tons of trophies and awards, and she's just accolades, and she's an amazing wrestler. And now she's trying to take it further to go pro, go to the Olympics. But her family, that's nothing you don't. They're poor family, so they need to marry her off basically. So they're trying to find somebody with money, and of course they go into the whole thing of give up your dreams, like you see in those kind of movies. Give up your dreams, the career. You have to find somebody and marry and everything. And then enter Veera. I think it's Veera. Is it Veera? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's played by Vishnu Vishal.
Vishal, yeah.
Vishnu Vishal. He's a really funny character. We see him. Actually, he's a good fighter too, because he fights in the street. he plays this sport where they
Kabaddi.
where they're tagging each other or something.
Yeah. I never understood what that game was about, but I do know
I
it's
thought they
a
were playing
physical game.
some kind of physical tag. I thought
It's
they were
like a
playing.
British bulldog where apparently one guy goes over, tries to touch as many people and go back.
Okay.
But like you said, you saw how
It's
rough.
violent,
I
yeah.
mean, it's like they push
So
him
the
over
guy,
and all that.
the guy can hold his own. He actually can fight too. So, and he's successful. He's got I think acreage. I can't remember if he inherited from the money over there, but he's doing all right. So so basically now the Keerthi's uncle is friends with this guy's uncle, who's got like the worst. He's like the worst
He grew up
role
with.
model.
He didn't have a mother. He grew up with
his
that
son-
uncle.
Yeah, he grew up with that uncle, and that uncle is the worst. He's like has the worst ideas. He's some chauvinist and everything. And a woman has this role, and a guy has this role. So this guy, Veera, grows up with those beliefs, but he kind of grows, believe him, and he can go either way. And then the second story that they gave us is that that group is fighting some big business guy who's come in and started a factory, and the factory is I can't remember what the factory they do, but
It doesn't
the stuff
matter.
spilling into the water.
It's polluting the water.
Polluting the water,
Right.
and it's killing the cows and everything. So so they're fighting this guy. So he's kind of like you say, he's a Betty. So, and then eventually, the Keerthi's uncle thinks, oh, this guy he's like a great guy. He'd be great for Keerthi. So he sets up a thing for them to come and look, potential bride. But the guy, because of his uncle, he has ideas. Like a woman has to be only educated up to like less educated than him, and I think he's only up to 8th grade. and she needs to be mousy, and she needs to have long hair, and of course
That's a prime
a
requirement.
prime requirement, really long hair. Now Keerthi's hair is only up to here because she wrestles. So and the uncle's like, oh really? And then he's got, I have a present for you. Great, like I'll go now. See, and the uncle's like, ah. So he goes back, tells her about it, and then eventually convinces her. The whole family convinces her that she needs to do this. So of course she gets a wig, and pretends to be mousy and everything, and because she also has anger issues. And then so the guy sees her, and then and he's kind of like he kind of likes her, and then what impresses her is that her father offers her some dowry, and he says no, that's not the way I work. So the guy's got some morals too, and then she's like, oh, okay, I kind of like this guy. So okay, now everything's great. He likes her. Of course, he's seeing her luscious hair going down to her knees and all that. And then so the thing, they get married, and that's pretty much what the movie takes off when they get married. I thought it's a great scene when they want to, like I say, consummate the marriage, and he's like, he's like, wow, you have pretty strong arms. Then what do you do? Oh, I do a lot of cleaning or whatever. but to me, where everything changes, and I'll finish off with this, which was my favorite scene of the whole movie. It was because the guy is fighting. They actually take the guy to court who's polluting the water, and they win. So he gets so pissed off, and then there's one scene where he has a bunch of thugs, and they kind of lure Veera from Keerthi. He does a lot of shenanigans too, where he's invited to this thing because he kind of did something that we'll explain later. Where he's trying to impress
See the movie.
He's trying to impress the wife, so he does this shenanigans too. But so, and of course the thugs come in and they jump him, and the guy shows up and they're fighting him. But he holds his own. He's a good fighter. But of course they overtake him and start beating the crap out of him. And the main thug comes in. And my favorite scene in the movie, which is not a spoiler because you see it in the trailer, where the guy, and that's what made me want to watch the movie, that scene. And the guy has the axe, and it's gonna hit him, and Veera's like, closes his eyes, and then nothing happens. And you just hear wind, and then he opens his eyes, and this is the guy flying in the air in slow-mo, but really super slow. I've seen the movie, super slow-mo. And he's like, and he looks back, and then she steps right in front of him. And he's like, but what that's so funny is that he's looking at her, and then he go back and looks at the guy, and then he goes back and looks at her. And while all this is happening, the guy's still in the air flying. And he even goes up and down and sizes her up. She's starting to think. And he still goes back and looks at the guy. And of course, then she starts fighting them and beating the crap out of them. And another scene where in that moment, the one guy grabs her hair, pulls her right off, and hits Veera in the face with her hair, which is another thing that happened on the
Fantasy
floor.
he has, yeah.
Yeah, so then and he's like, he's her more scared, like, and they do this slow-mo with her hair and everything, and then so then it goes from there. What that everybody's talking about, that she's not I'm not fighting you. Your wife will kick my ass anyway. So I'll let you guys talk about it because I love the movie. I thought it's a lot of funny things. It had a lot of things about women and men, like what the women talk about the guys when they have a meeting, and all the guys talk about the women and the roles, and it talks about the roles in India, I guess, what they expected in career. But the movie had me. Most of the time, I was just cracking up on the floor, just laughing out loud with the movie.
I didn't see it, so
Next.
Well, I did see it, and I thought it was really funny. And and sometimes like we do a lot of Indian movies, right? But this is actually, I really like their comedy. I like it the best. Sometimes the mythology, yeah, is kind of I don't really get it, but comedy is excellent because especially with this, because it's really like a male female, like what is man, what is a woman, and how do they interact with each other within these social arrangements, right? And I just thought that was really, they did it really good. I mean that like always in these movies, the really great part is the families. The families make the movie. Like they're like his uncle is hysterical. It's like he has all these rules that she has to be like this, she has to be like this. He doesn't know. He's like, oh, okay. And his family, her family, I gather they're all girls, right? It seems like they're all girls. They're sisters. There's 3 sisters, I think, or 3 or 4 sisters.
Her family?
Yeah.
No, it's just her and her sister.
It's just her and her sister?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it's very interesting. It was really very funny, and anybody can relate to it because this is a very human nature dance. You know what I mean? We all are trying to figure out what's your and what's mine, and in a modern time. So I liked it.
I loved it, and
Wow.
it was it was funny, and
It was funny.
first line, it's funny, and funny is funny, and so and what they did was, and it's true, if you look at any really great comedy about families, everybody can relate. It's very universal.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what country you're from, whatever it is. It's just the same things happen in families. And it was so funny that I enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. Even when they do the hokey parts, like that fight. Right? So
That was the best. I love that fight.
It was good. What made
Maybe
it
the
was
dances were
the guy
good.
rolling slow.
I enjoyed the film as well. Out of all the 5 movies, this is probably the one I could watch from beginning to end without stopping.
Did you give it a 3?
Well, more than 3. But what's interesting is
Maybe
the fact
even a
that,
4.
like, for me personally, it's like, watching these Indian films is, well, let me just put it this way. Screwball comedies, I know when I really like the classic screwball comedies. So, for example, Adam's Rib. I still find Adam's Rib is a much superior movie to me than this film. But it's still doing the exact same thing. You're just seeing it from a different culture now, and you're seeing it in a contemporary environment. Because you're right, the fact that you're watching an environment where it's like, oh, women are actually being set up to be married type of thing.
They still do it.
And no, exactly. That's their culture, though.
Yeah.
That is their culture. So it's just like, wow. And especially someone who is, like you said, this character, she is, I don't want to say liberated, but she's accomplished. She's an accomplished woman. And then you find out later on that other women are accomplished, but they did the same thing, basically, right?
They pretend. Yeah.
Exactly.
Decided.
So I thought, okay, this is something I'm sort of learning. But what I really did like in this movie was how they sort of treated you to the culture, like the kabaddi game.
Yeah, right.
I always heard about the kabaddi, but I still never understood what the game was. So when you see him pushing people, it's like, okay. Then it's like, oh, that's what he mean. You touch everyone and then you go to your own side. So for me alone, that was like, finally I got to see what kabaddi's about. Because the only reason I know that is watching British television
Well,
when they
yeah.
keep asking these like Indian people, like even Meera Syal. It's like, so what exactly is kabaddi? Because both boys and girls play kabaddi.
Right.
So, and that's what that's why I keep telling Bob, I'm just sort of fascinated watching these movies because I'm learning. I'm really getting into their culture and I'm learning their culture. Not a lot though, but I just thought, wow, this was entertaining. So for me to watch this movie, which, you know what, I think it is sort of cliched. This is a movie.
Yeah.
This is a story we sort of seen before, even in America. It's, how would I put it? It's almost like cringing how bad the male mentality to me is in India towards, like I said, the fact that his wife had to have hair of a certain length as a prerequisite to get married.
And,
It's like,
and that's the scene where you see him with looking at different possible wives. And he's always
turn
looking
around.
at their hair. Turn
No,
around.
turn
yeah.
around. He
And
keeps
just like
saying,
that,
turn
like,
around. And even the uncle says, I know already, don't say anything. He knows,
Right.
too short. You know, stuff like that is like, okay. But I have to admit, I did find the two leads a lot of fun in this movie. So I will give it to them. Who was that? Like you said, Vishnu Vishal and Aishwarya Lakshmi.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
good.
they were really delightful in this movie.
Yeah.
So that's what kept me. And because it was a comedy, the musical numbers seemed to fit a lot more.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I
yes.
wasn't
Yeah.
offended
They
by
were
singing
great.
where they were
Right.
just plain fun.
Yeah.
Like Three Idiots, right?
Yeah.
Where they
Right.
did their musical numbers.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
just fun.
Yeah.
So it actually added to the movie. My only problem was like, did this really have to be 2 hours and 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I said,
Yes.
if they cut it down to 90 minutes and had exactly from beginning to end what they want to say, they had it in this film. and it was-
What I
That
gather
would've been
is
good.
Indian movies, they expect them to be long.
oh, yes, at least 3
You know,
hours type of thing.
I have
Yeah.
to say that I saw this not in an Indian culture, but you know, when I worked at the restaurant, mostly all the kitchen were mainland China
Right. Mhm.
guys.
Yeah.
And the first time I ever saw this is one of the chefs. There was another lady, also the accountant lady. She was she was really tall. And I said to her, "Aren't you tall for like a Chinese woman?" And she was like, "No." I was like,
No, Chinese and
yeah,
Koreans
yeah,
That's tall?
yeah."
compared to Japanese.
And
Oh, right.
no, she was tall. She was like 6 foot tall. She
Yeah.
was tall.
Oh.
Anyways, that she was the what do you call that? The chaperone. It was going to be. He was going to. Now she also has a chaperone. This is the way those guys work all the time. How can they meet anybody?
oh.
Right? It's like, so the chaperone sets it up. Both each side have a chaperone, and they had lunch, and the chaperones do nothing. They just sit there, and I think they give counsel to the person after.
Is this in the movie?
No, this is
Oh.
real life.
Oh, no.
I mean,
sorry.
this was real life. This is something that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And this is like modern. This was not, so that it was like, so I thought it was actually quite clever. It was like when you meet somebody and you're on a date, of course you're like, you know, you're all whatever, but the person is grounded and they are kind of your eyes for you. And they, counsel
Give you basically the,
you
third
pick-
person perspective
you
of what
pick
you
the-
just saw. what
You
they saw,
pick
yeah.
the person. You pick the what do you call that? The
The date.
chaperone.
Or-
No,
oh,
the
you
chaperone.
picked. Okay.
I'm sure that this is done through like a Chinese, like whatever. What is it? You know, like in a
Matchmaking.
matchmaker, then fiddler on
Right.
the roof, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they have that in there. There's these people that do that. They bring people
Mhm.
together.
Oh, yeah.
Matchmaking,
Yentls.
yeah.
You know, and like I said, it didn't seem at all negative to me.
hmm
I mean, I was just watching as a thing, and I thought it was actually quite brilliant. You know, I was like, yeah, I wish, you know, people would have done that for me sometime.
I would have done it for you. Except for
Bueno,
you, George.
Well, no,
Well,
see,
I'm
I was
talking about
saying,
when I'm young.
I don't see that crack up in the movies because remember what he wanted in a woman, and after she beat the crap out of all the guys, when he comes home, she lets him in and he's like trying to fix himself and everything, and he's like, she's like, I didn't have time to cook, so the food was cold.
Right.
My body
Yes.
aches from all that kicking all the ass basically. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. And then he's like, "Oh, I have a secret to tell you. What? I don't have long hair." But when the hair came off when she was fighting, he's like, "Oh, long hair is overrated. Don't worry about it." And also, I have a bachelor's degree or something. "Oh no, I think education is important for women." After he had all said, it's so funny.
Number?
So that would be, I guess, me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I liked it a lot. I give it an 8.
I give it a 9.
I give it a 6.
Okay, I enjoyed it. I saw it 3 times. I give it a 10.
You want to do
Okay.
it?
So that's it
We'll
for
be
this
back.
week.
I'm not going to do it for a movie I haven't seen.
Why not?